Good morning. It's time for our second installment. I guess actually it's the very first full installment. I'm pretty excited about what happened Sunday. I feel good about it. Prayed about it this morning. Really feel like, I was nervous about the message and everything. There are a couple tight places there, but I really feel good about it. And I thank the Lord for his help. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Everybody had a vision of what's happening with this connection groups that we're doing. With this email, you're going to receive a list of names. I have some notes here I'm trying to read as I do this. A list of names, and on those names are people who we consider attend the church. An attendee of the church is someone who is here 3 times in a 3-month period. So it's kind of a loose understanding of what an attendee is. So in other words, if they're in the church service 3 times through January through March, we will count them as an attendee. Or they could just attend like a midweek 3 times and they're an attendee. So those are the names that are attendees that are not in small groups. And so you're going to be getting those names. I ask that you prayerfully consider who you might want to invite after this week. Before your group meets, be praying about that. We need just to be aggressive in this. It's a new thing. Don't worry about inviting more than one, 2 groups inviting one person. Let them pray about it and decide where they want to go with their groups. And so just be considering that. Again, the names are on the email I've given you, so look those over, pray about them, and get on the phone and call people. That's what you need. If you need numbers, call Ruth Ann in the office here, or you can call me, and I'll get you a number. We have a directory that's almost ready to go out. I wish it was in your hands, but it isn't yet. Anyway, so make sure you understand that. I will try to attend every group this week. Laverne and Carolyn, I will not be able to make yours because we have a board meeting that night. I apologize. It's actually affecting your group negatively. It wasn't my intention. But the way things work out, we just got to roll with it a little bit. And so I won't be able to attend that group this week. I'll make it next week. But every other group, I think I'll be able to attend. I probably won't stay the whole time, just do a little rough parameters. I want your groups to be yours. But I also want to make sure everybody's on the same page. And that's my way of doing that. I think then the next week, you're off and running on your own, unless you need my help or need something. Some things to encourage with the groups is, number one, we want to be very open about this 3-week test drive. What do I mean by that is we don't want to say, when somebody says, I'm no longer going to attend this group, oh, please, won't you reconsider all those stuff. We're not here to will people into this. We want it to fit. And part of what needs to happen is the groups need to move around. So at the end of the 10-week period, if there's a person that says, I might go to another group, you just encourage them. Yeah, find what really fits for you is what we're trying to do. We're not trying to build our own little empires. And so we got to think, especially group leaders, we're part of a bigger team and trying to accomplish that thing that God wants us to do. So a test drive with a smile, I think, is a really important thing. Also, our first 10-week time frame will actually end with the end of March. March 28th is the last Friday, which Brad's group meets on a Friday. That'll be the last time. So if you want to, and I'll talk about that when I come. And then we'll have 3 weeks off, and we'll begin after Easter, okay? And so we'll have a 3-week break period, and that's to give you guys a rest that are working real hard to getting all this stuff done. But I just want to make sure you understand that dynamic. The 28th of March will be when the 10-week period ends. I did not mention that on Sunday morning. Again, that's why I want to go to the groups and see if there's any questions or anything that we need to look at. As far as the general layout, it was in Sticky Church, just to remind you of what's supposed to happen. And before the group actually begins, so if your group starts at 7 o'clock, at 6:45, I'm saying 15 minutes before it, the host and also the facilitator should be there. You should be comfortably there, not rushing around getting stuff done, because you want to provide that atmosphere. There should be some form of refreshments available for those who are coming. Now, if your group wants to share in that, I want to encourage you to do that. I don't want to put all this responsibility on the host to financially provide. And if there comes a situation where the money's getting into it, let me know. We do have some resources available for discipleship that we could use in that venue to sort of help out. But I think if the group could share it even, I think would be the best idea if that's what they want. Or whatever you guys decide as you go down the road. So we have the refreshments, a meet and greet. Just make sure you're friendly. And then you're supposed to start the group on time. I want to encourage you to try to start on time, because if you start starting late, then it gets later and later and later. Those who are late will be late. Those who are on time will be on time, but you want to be fair to those. So whatever your starting time, try to start right around that time if possible, unless there's extenuating circumstances. And then there's going to be some sharing time, and the book said 15 to 30 minutes. Some groups will have to be stopped. Some will stop before the 15 minutes. But what you basically do is share a life. I do this on midweek a lot. How's your week going? You have any stories? I know my wife, when she was doing youth, one thing she'd like to do is tell me one of the best thing about your week and also the worst thing about your week, and share those various things. So anyways, just to, whatever you want to use to get people to talk a little bit about their life. Self-discovery is a major part of what we want to do here. Then we're going to get to the study and the discussion, and it's important that people are doing stuff ahead of time. And when I come to your group, I might tell them, I don't care if they have to cram it in right before they get there, all right? But they need to get those study questions done, and there's value in that, all right? Now, there'll be those that'll take 2-3 hours to do it. That's great, but we're not asking people to do that. We're asking that they get it done, and the study questions should not really take more than a half hour. But as you do the study questions, they say a 45-minute time slot, you should not finish discussing everything on that sheet of paper. You should have to pick and choose a little bit as far as what you discuss with those study questions, okay? And then we should end the group with prayer. Now, as we grow and various things happen, we're going to get a maneuverability with this. But I ask that you start with the flow, start with the program, and slowly deviate if that's the personality of your group, all right? But there are some dangers that we want to make sure. One thing I do need from you is feedback. My son and I are doing the questions together, so I'm trying to make sure it's a half hour to fill out. I have a gift in Bible, not because I went to school, but even with my classmates, I was just really good at sort of seeing things in the Bible, and I think that could make my questions maybe for me real easy and for everybody else real hard or whatever. And so I just need the feedback on the questions, how long it's taking to discuss them in the groups, those various things. So please provide that feedback for me so I can make sure continue to improve on the questions is really my avenue that I want to focus on. So give the feedback. In the Sticky Church book, they ask that the facilitator do the attendance. I want the host to take the attendance. All right? The host, not the facilitator. The reason I want the host is because I feel like they're not concentrating necessarily on the lesson, and that's a good time. And as far as reporting that, just make contact with Ruth Ann in whichever way you two are comfortable reporting those numbers, whether it be email, a phone call, a paper on Sunday morning in a box, whatever. We just need to collect them somehow, some way in what we want to do. So remember that. A couple dangers I wanted to quickly discuss, and so you can think about it ahead of time for the facilitators. There's dangers, especially in this digging deeper part, the very beginning of our group. We don't want to overdo the exposure, I guess, of people or vulnerability of them. It's going to take some time. Actually, a couple of these 10-week sessions. Maybe this fall we'll really be able to discuss something in a more intimate way. But just be careful. Digging deeper. If you want to share digging deeper, that's fine. You can leave it open to people if they really want to share. But I wouldn't ask people. We try to have that one section that's a little bit more private for their self-reflection. So if you just approach that with real care, I guess is what I'm trying to say, as you try to get into people's lives. Another danger is going too heavy, and I'm sort of worried about that with Brad's group there because they're used to meeting, and I've never been part of their group, but I understand they really nitpick a little bit on the scriptures. That's not what this is about. Okay, nitpick in a good way. I don't mean that negatively, but we want to make sure that, especially at the beginning, we're doing a lot of self-discovery, and then as the self-discovery grows and people get more open, we want to move to application. Not to say we don't want to do Bible, but we don't want to be, hey, let's get Bible. All right, so you can be too heavy in this approach with God's word and various things. Again, the teaching comes from Sunday morning. We're worried about connecting with each other and bringing it down to where we live. And so just be aware of that as we go through. Also, don't go too light. All right, too light. And what do I mean by too light? And I guess, Dawnette, you're the one that has to worry about this more. I think my wife maybe a little bit, but I think Dawnette really will have the challenges, is just talk about whatever. There's a couple people in Dawnette's group that I think can go here or there, and I don't mean that in a bad way because we need those people. They're very good, but we can go too far, all right? So we can go too far out and end up talking about everything and anything, but nothing at the same time. And so what we all need to learn, myself included, is sort of like we need to learn how to let the current flow with our bait or going down the river, but at a certain point in time, we got to learn to sort of reel it in. And so all of us will need to learn how to do that in our own way, in our own abilities. And so just be aware of that as we go through this whole process. Facilitators, be very conscious of that and talk with your hosts about it as far as how it went. That's your feedback, your host. And, if there's things we can improve and various things. And listen, we're all a work in progress. Just remember that. And so as we go through all this stuff, just remember, okay, I got to continue to work on what's going on. And God will bring us to the place I just appreciate your availability that you're giving. And so I don't want to overdo this, but I just want to caution you on a couple things. Finally, but not last, childcare. Two groups that need childcare are the Thursday night and the Friday night groups there are children in. And here's the issue. You need to find someone to watch the children, all right? And that's sort of a group effort. This week you may say, oh, well, we didn't think about that. Don't worry about it, all right? This week, just manage what you can. But the next week forward, the group has to have a plan. How are we going to watch the children? They will not self-watch themselves. You'll put them in a room, they'll fight, they'll argue, parents will have to go over and attend to them all the time. I love children, I love them, but certain venues, they just do not fit well. This is one of those venues. And so if you can get a teen or an adult or whatever it takes, the group can share in the responsibility. Everybody put a couple bucks in or whatever, or $1 to pay somebody to watch. We have teens in our church that would be more than happy, I think, to help you out in that venue. If you're having difficulties finding someone, let me know. I'll see what I can do. But there needs to be someone, not in the group, but someone outside the group that's being brought in to help with your child care, okay? Trust me on this. I know what I'm talking about. And so just in your mind, think, okay, who can we get in that regard? And again, it shouldn't be just the host that's trying to figure this out, but it's a group thing that needs to be figured out. But I want the host and the facilitator to stand firm. We need to do this on this regard, okay? We really had a good sign up. We have 30 plus people signed up. I was hoping for 40. I think we can get there. If you work hard, be bold in the Lord. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you to have boldness. But try to get those things done as far as being signed up, as getting other people. Make the call sooner than later. People do not like general signups. They like to be asked and invited to do things. That's how things get done. So get your inviting going today, if at all possible. There are some people on the list that I've sent you that need to be in small groups. Here's the reality is, if we do not get them connected in small groups, they will be a casualty going down the road. Pray, ask God who they might be. You're saving someone from being a casualty from our church by getting them involved in a small group. It's a gift of love. Some people need some nudging, all right? And so just paint a wide open door for them to join your group. If they've already been invited for another group, just say, hey, we'll pray which group you might fit in best. That's what we want you to do. Again, we're a team working together in this, all right? Listen, I'm praying for you. I'm excited. God bless you, and I'll be seeing you this week. Everyone except Laverne and Carolyn, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. God bless.